Shedeur rank in terms of quarterbacks that you've seen?
Yeah. You know, 4 weeks ago, getting started on this process, everybody's asking about Colorado. My mind, just went to off-schedule plays, him making things happen, outside the pocket or, off schedule, right? He's the best player that NDSU has played yet. He's the best player that NDSU has played yet. Okay, and I really believe that. This guy is process-oriented. He's progression-based. He's aware of footwork and timing and rhythm. He takes what the defense gives him. Okay, he goes to the right spots, and then on top of that, he can play off a platform, different platforms. I think he has a great ability. Probably in my opinion, his strongest suit is that he can get his cleats in the ground and deliver the ball quickly when he has to. And that has a positive effect on RPOs. That has a positive effect on relief type plays, a run with relief. He's impressive. If you were to line up and show him a three-man rush, he's going to buy time back there, buy time and hit second and third level throws that are uncommon, with great accuracy and deep crossers and those kind of things. Some of his best plays are the simple play of throwing the ball away as well. I admire Shedeur from the standpoint that he's playing the position the way it's always been intended to play. Rhythm, timing, footwork, all matching up. And then you put on top of that the ability to extend plays looking to throw. He's not a runner first, but he is capable. But extending plays and keeping his eyes downfield is pretty impressive. It's exciting. I think our fans should be excited and should appreciate that they get to see one of the top, a first-round draft pick at quarterback get to play against the Bison. It's just, once you sit down, right, like I mentioned to Sam, I think we were talking, Pro Football Focus has all these cool different cut-ups, and I was able to pull his best 250 plays. And then you start to really have an appreciation for he's playing the position. There's a lot of guys that are really good, they're really scary, that just are making throws or they beat you with their feet. He is playing the spot. I several times found myself back in the quarterback coaching chair and bump, 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 bump. I mean, there's some rhythm there and there's some tempo, and you got to appreciate it.
Well, he's got a big-time arm. He can use all 53 1/3 yards of the field, right? He can throw the ball from sideline to sideline. He's got a great feel for the pocket. He moves in the pocket. He can hurt you with his feet, but he slides in the pocket to find guys that are open. He's got excellent weapons around him. They ran the ball well this past game. And he's courageous and tough. He's an elite competitor. You're probably facing two of the first five guys drafted in the draft this week. You're probably facing two of the first five guys drafted in the draft this week. You're probably facing two of the first five guys drafted in the draft this week.
They're kind of ready for that challenge.
Well, yeah, I have a lot of respect offensively for what they do. Quarterback makes some really hard throws. I think if he knows what you're in, he eats you up, and the throws are out before the turns are made. And before the coverage has a chance to work a leverage or any of that. I mean, once he knows, it's bad for the defense. And then I think the skill is such to where you can only double cover so many people, and I think in the past people have tried to mitigate all that by trying to get to him before they get to you, and I think there is improvement on that side of it. You could see the talking and the communication up front, where they're able to hold off, and then you're getting, quarterback stepping in, taking hits as he's getting the ball out, and just like it's that's a whole NFL thing right there. And so I have a lot of respect, and it's going to take our best. We've been playing a lot of running teams, and so to go from one end to the other end is our task. And so it's a lot of work that needs to happen for us.
Sanders, quarterback. You've had experience with him in the past. You actually recruited him, I think, wasn't it, at Auburn? What do you see of him specifically? What do you need to do to maybe limit his ability to get out of the pocket and make plays with his feet?
Yeah, you got to put pressure on him. There's no doubt. And so far, we've not done a great job of putting pressure on quarterbacks when they've thrown it. So we got to do a better job of that. And I think that's going to be a real big key to the game. And, the thing about it last week, he took off and used his feet and made some plays there. But you can just tell he's a veteran guy. You can tell he stays calm, and you can tell he's a smart guy too.
Coach,
I say Shedeur Sanders. What do you think?
I think he's a heck of a football player. I think he's calm. He's in control. He's got a tremendous arm, very accurate. Appears to be very smart, with what he's doing. He's running the show. He's setting the protections. He understands matchups, knows what he's doing with it. He's a heck of a football player. I mean, there aren't too many better than him out there.
He's doing a good job of harassing quarterbacks, maybe not getting the sack, but making them uncomfortable, move around. He's pretty experienced at that, and plus he's a run threat. So does that change how you approach this?
We've dealt with guys that can extend plays before. I always say there's two camps of guys. There's the guys that are gonna get out and scramble. When they get out of the pocket, they're gone, and you gotta find them. And then there's the guys that are gonna scramble to buy time to throw. And to me, that's where they're at their most dangerous offensively, is when he's extending plays, because I think their receivers do a really good job in the scramble rules. I think he's very accurate throwing on the move. And so if you broke down, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but if you broke down where their explosive plays are coming from, it's because of his ability to extend plays. And that's how they've made their hay for a long time.
Can you take anything from how you guys prepared for Noah Fafita in Arizona a few weeks ago? Are they two completely different?
A little different. One of the things we gauge is kind of the average depth of the drop back. And sometimes Noah Fafita was the kind of a guy that would throw a ball from 16 yards and just drift and made it hard to get there. And whereas Shedeur, I feel like, is a guy that's going to more step up, slide out, move around. He's a little more diverse in what his stuff is. And no offense to Fafita, but he was a shorter guy. He probably needed to do it that way. And whereas Shedeur's a bigger body that can step up and probably hurt you in more ways in the pocket.
Just one guy you have to worry about. I mean, there's a bunch of them out there across the board, and somebody's going to get singled up. And so, we got to do a great job of doing that. We have to mix it up on Shedeur. I think if you just allow him to sit in that pocket, he's going to kill you, so you have to be able to do some things to maybe try to get him off the spot. He does a great job when he does get flushed out of the pocket of keeping his eyes up down the field and having some big plays. He believes in his receivers. And so, we got to do a great job if he does get out of the pocket of trying to have somebody to contain that. It's a big challenge. I don't know any which way you slice it. I mean, it's a big challenge to try to slow them down and to try to limit what they can do. I do feel like, again, they will get some plays on us, but we got to try to get them down and get them where we can play defense again.
The league in just about every passing category. What attributes of his impress you most?
Yeah, I mean, I think just. He plays with such great confidence. I mean, I think that stands out. I mean, he's got a lot of talent and ability, but he's got a lot of confidence in what they're trying to do offensively. I mean, Shedeur's probably had a football in his hand since he could walk. I mean, he's very comfortable throwing the football. He's had great mentors and coaches throughout his whole life. He's been throwing, 7-on-7 his whole life. I mean, he is very, very comfortable sitting out there and having his receivers out and running those routes. He anticipates very well. To the average eye, you may look, and that guy looks covered, but not to him. He'll be able to throw him open, and then there he goes, and now the receiver will go get the ball. I mean, it's just he's got great anticipation and poise when he's playing. He doesn't get rattled. I think he's just got a bunch of attributes, obviously, to be the kind of player that he is, and it obviously shows. I mean, he gives his team a chance to win each and every week. And, with the way their defense has been playing, I think that's why they're sitting there where they are right now with that, combined with that offense.
I believe we're facing two of the best college football players in the country. One is probably the leader in the Heisman right now, Travis Hunter. I mean, he's a generational player. I keep thinking back, and you'd have to go a long way back. I know there's been different guys that have been able to play both sides of the ball, but this guy's going to take over 100 snaps on Saturday and play at an elite level. I mean, as good as anybody in the country, and so he deserves to be in the mix and probably the leader. And then, in my opinion, I think that Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback in college football. And then, in my opinion, I think that Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback in college football. And then, in my opinion, I think that Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback in college football. If I was an NFL GM and I had a pick to where I needed a quarterback, he'd be the first quarterback taken in this year's draft. He should be. And so I have a lot of respect for him. I still remember
230, whatever, throwing the football, or 330, not 230, 330 throwing the football. But the quarterback has a quick release. He's a terrific quarterback. He'll be one of the most likely the top players taken in the draft next year. A terrific quarterback. He'll be one of the most likely the top players taken in the draft next year. And as you mentioned, not just Hunter outside. They got 3 or 4 guys they can get the ball to. So that's a big part of what they do is getting the ball. Speed and space is what we call it, getting the ball into the hands of the playmakers in space and letting them do their thing.
Very uncommon. I haven't even really had a chance. I haven't commented on Shedeur and the athlete that he is, and his ability to extend plays, his arm strength and accuracy, his ability to create first downs when he scrambles. All those things are highly impressive as well. So when they're clicking, they're awful tough to defend.
Haven't been able to perform like we have in the last 18 years.
What needs to happen Friday to have more success on defense against?
Well, you got to control him, the quarterback. You got to know where Travis Hunter is, and you've got to somehow get your hands on him and make him move his feet and not let him get comfortable because he's a really good player, and his improvement over 3 years has been pretty impressive. Obviously, he's very talented, very athletic, and competitive, but his ability to improve each year from, 3 years ago has been pretty impressive. But you got to be aware of him, and you have to know where Travis Hunter is.